Hear me out. I just found a new home loan product that allows you to borrow 100% of the home property purchase, which means if the property purchase is $1 million, you actually borrow the whole thing. Now, before I digress, there's obviously a freaking fee involved. Like, no one's going to give you 100% lending. Like, oh, here you go, $1 million for a $1 million property purchase. Clean slate, no charges are involved. Of course there is. But this product is pretty good. Let me show you through my whiteboard. So this type of home loan is called first and second mortgage, okay? For example, the property you want to purchase wherever in Australia, say for example, it's $1 million to keep it simple. How it works is this lender will provide a first and second mortgage. For example, the lender will provide a first mortgage on the initial purchase, the property over here, at 80%. For example, 80% of $1 million is $800K. Now, after this is secured and approved, they will then apply a second mortgage against the deposit, which is 20%, which happens to be $200K. And in total, this particular lender will lend you the 80% plus the 20%, which equals 100%, which equals to the $1 million purchase you want, which is a $1 million loan. Now, this does not include government fees. For example, to purchase a $1 million property, stamp duty is around $40,000. Now, if you're a first home buyer, you might say, hey, shouldn't I get stamp duty exemption? No, because you're buying over $800K, you have to pay stamp duty, and the funder over here will not give you a loan to cover your stamp duty costs. So you've got to make sure you have this money. Plus, you also might have miscellaneous costs, which equals to up to $3,000. For example, your solicitor costs. So the total cost over here is about $45,000 approximately. Now, remember what I said about there's no lender in the market that gives you free lunch, right? There's no free fur to eat in this world. For them to give you 100% lending, to give you the first mortgage, which is at 80%, and then the second mortgage at 20%, and giving you the whole 100% loan, they have to charge you a fee. So for a $1 million purchase, it's approximately $22,000. And let's call it the no free fur fee. Fur means Vietnamese noodle. There's no free lunch in this world, especially when I go to my Vietnamese restaurant. It's winter, it's cold, I'm eating my fur. I'm expected to pay money for my fur. So it works out 45K plus 22K, it works out to be about 67K, provided you service this debt, right? They will give you $1 million at a cost of 67K. Now, a lot of you be saying, bro, I could get the first home guarantee scheme, 95%, 5% deposit, no mortgage insurance. No, you're wrong, because first home guarantee scheme for New South Wales only goes up to 900K. Anything over that, it doesn't apply to you. So you might be saying, hey, I can borrow 95% including mortgage insurance. Well, let me show you a few tables to compare to this product, which shows this one's actually better. So here's a table here that compares this product, which allows you to borrow 100% from the bank for a $1 million purchase. The fee is around 22K, but then you add in like your stamp duty and yada yada. It works out to be about 64 to 67K of your own cost. But let's compare this to a 5% deposit. So a 5% deposit will be equal to $50,000. So deposit required $50,000, but then you got to pay mortgage insurance, which is 46K. Now you can't apply the first home guarantee scheme because you exceeded the 900K cap. And also, if you're not a first home buyer, for example, you purchased a home before within the last 10 years, you don't qualify for the scheme even if you're under the 900K cap, which means you got to pay LMI anyway. So when you compare the 5% deposit, in total, including stamp duty, you required 140K approximate versus, 64 to 67K deposit to get the $1 million purchase. And if you're curious about comparing to a 20% deposit and a 10% deposit, well, with 10%, you required 170K in total approximately, and 243K approximately for 20% deposit. So overall, this looks pretty sweet. But the next question you ask, mate, this is like a scam kind of product, right? Never heard of it before. It must be some non-banks I've never heard of before. The rate must be like through the roof. You're actually wrong. Remember what I said that this lender goes in for the first mortgage and the second mortgage? Well, the first mortgage, which is the one over here, you can actually get a rate around 6.2%. And you can actually use lenders like, Macquarie, Kudos Bank, Resimac, ING, just to name a few, to represent you for the first mortgage. And for the second mortgage, which is the second bowl of noodle over here, the broth gets a bit spicy over here, because for the second mortgage, depending whether you want to choose a 10%, 15%, or 20% second mortgage, the spicy rates range from 12.5 to 12.99 to 13.5, and the loan term is only 15 years for the second mortgage. So when you look at the repayments at a 95% loan for a $1 million property, the loan's about $950K, including mortgage insurance. The rate is usually 7.44%. But for example, over here, you can get at the moment 6.14% at 800K and 12.99 for the 150K, assuming you also borrow 95% against a $1 million property and you're not borrowing like the whole 100%. Now, if you watched thus far and you're like, hey Q, I'm pretty keen with this, man, like 67K and get a $1 million property, woohoo, let's get me on. You got to be mindful, you need to be able to service this loan, which means your income needs to be pretty high to service 100% of the $1 million. So what I mean is you must be someone that has a huge income, but you're not really good with savings, right? You probably have about 80K, in the weekends you go white boy, you spend it on drinks, you spend it on like parties, holidays, you can't save. But you have about, 67 to 80K, well, this product is perfect for you. High income earning, and you can borrow the first 80% and the bloody 20% all together. So guys, jump in the comments. What do you think about this new product? Will you give it a go? Will you send this to your friends and let them check out? I'm happy to give them a quote and see whether they qualify. I mean, at least you can get a pre-approval and see whether you can get into the market faster with the minimal deposit of what I just said. Jump in the comments, let me know what you think.